There comes a moment in every life when the noise inside you becomes louder than the world outside. A moment when the weight of unspoken memories, unhealed wounds, and unanswered questions begins to crush you from within. My name is Anaya Sharma, and before I ever became a guide for healing, I was someone desperately trying to heal myself. I didn't wake up one day and suddenly understand the mind, or the soul, or the science of suffering. I learned because I had no choice. I learned because life demanded it. People often believe addiction begins with a decision, a moment of weakness, a lack of discipline. But addiction doesn't start with a substance. Addiction begins with pain, with emptiness, with silence that becomes unbearable, with loneliness that slowly turns into a companion. I didn't understand this in the beginning. I only knew that somewhere between childhood and womanhood, something inside me cracked. I grew up learning to be strong, learning to hold everything together for everyone else, learning to swallow my fears and silence my emotions. But when you silence yourself long enough, the voice inside eventually bursts through, not gently, but violently. It started subtly. Anxiety that kept circling my chest. Sleepless nights where my thoughts raced like storms. A feeling of never being enough, never being seen, never truly belonging anywhere. And then one day, someone offered me something, just to help you relax, just to take the edge off. I didn't know that the smallest escape often becomes the biggest prison. At first it felt harmless. A momentary quieting of the thoughts that chased me endlessly. A softness in the mind that I had never felt before. But slowly, almost invisibly, the moments I could live without it became fewer, and the moments when I needed it became all-consuming. I didn't know then that my brain, my beautiful, delicate, powerful brain, was being rewired. I didn't know that a chemical inside me called dopamine, the same chemical that lets us feel joy, connection, motivation, was being hijacked, overwhelmed, drowned. The truth is simple. Every human being has a reward system designed to keep us alive. When we eat, connect, learn, love, dopamine rises. But substances don't just raise dopamine. They flood it. They explode it. They hit the brain with a force 10 times stronger than natural pleasure. And the brain, in confusion, begins to adapt. It reduces dopamine receptors. It produces less joy naturally. It makes you numb. It makes you empty. And you stop using the substance to feel good. You start using it to avoid feeling dead. I didn't understand what was happening to me. I only knew that my emotions felt like heavy stones dragging me underwater, that I was disappearing from myself, that the person in the mirror wasn't me anymore. One morning, when I looked into my own reflection, my eyes felt hollow, as if someone else was staring back. That was the moment something inside whispered, "Seek help," or lose yourself forever. That day, trembling and exhausted, I walked into the office of a therapist named Dr. Ryo Tanaka, a man whose calm presence alone felt like a lighthouse in a storm. He didn't rush me. He didn't judge me. He didn't tell me to be stronger or try harder. He simply said, "Tell me your story. Your soul has waited long enough to be heard." For the first time, I spoke truths I had buried for years about the childhood loneliness I never understood, about the pressure to be perfect, about the fear of disappointing people, about the emptiness I carried like a second skin. When I finished, he placed an empty glass on the table between us, and then he poured water into it. But the water slipped out through a small hole at the bottom. "This," he said, "is your heart. And this hole is your trauma. No matter what you pour into it, substances, relationships, achievements, it will never fill. Because the problem is not what you put inside. The problem is the wound that keeps letting everything leak out." And then he said the words that changed everything. "You do not heal addiction by fighting the substance. You heal by healing the emptiness." He introduced me to 3 Japanese philosophies that became the pillars of my transformation. Kishi Kaisei, rising from near death and returning to life. Not going back to who you were, but becoming someone entirely new. Kaizen, the power of 1% daily improvement. A reminder that healing isn't sudden. It's consistent, gentle, accumulative. Ikigai, your reason for waking up. The purpose that fills the soul so deeply that the need for escape begins to disappear. But knowing these philosophies wasn't enough. The journey ahead was brutal. The first 30 days felt like walking through fire. Withdrawal isn't just physical, it's emotional. It's spiritual. Your body shakes, your heart races, your mind screams. Your soul feels like it's breaking. Some nights I curled into myself, trembling, counting every breath just to stay present. Some mornings I woke up with tears already falling. But slowly, with therapy, with guidance, with breath work, with observing my cravings instead of fighting them, I learned something revolutionary. A craving is not a command. It is a wave. It rises, it peaks, and it falls if you do not drown yourself trying to resist it. Dr. Rio taught me the technique of surfing the urge. Instead of battling my impulses, I watched them like passing clouds. I labeled them. I breathed through them. And with every wave I survived, my brain, my beautiful, adaptable brain, began to heal. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to rewire itself, to rebuild damaged circuits, to come back to life. But healing wasn't just in my brain. Healing was in my environment. I removed every trigger, every contact, every object that pulled me backward. I learned that willpower is not stronger than environment. Environment is stronger than everything. So I rebuilt mine from scratch. I filled my room with light, with calming colors, with reminders of who I wanted to become. I replaced destructive routines with nourishing ones: journaling, prayer, mindful breathing, sunlight in the morning, nourishing food, steady sleep, daily walks, time with safe people, silence for reflection, gratitude for grounding. Some days I moved forward. Some days I fell. And yes, I relapsed. And when it happened, I thought everything was over. But Dr. Rio said something that lifted the weight of shame off my shoulders. A relapse is not the end. It is a message. Listen to it, learn from it, and rise again. And I did, again and again. Until slowly, my reflections stopped being a stranger. Until my thoughts softened. Until the noise faded. Until the emptiness inside me began to close like a healing wound. One day, as I sat with my journal, writing messages of healing for others, I realized that my pain had transformed into purpose, that my story was meant to be shared, that my voice, the same voice that once trembled in fear, now carried strength. And that is how Subconscious Echoes was born, from the ashes of the version of me that once broke, and from the rebirth of the version that rose. I learned that addiction is not a moral failure. It is a neurological hijacking. I learned that willpower is not enough. You need structure, support, strategy. I learned that healing is not a destination. It is a daily devotion. I learned that you cannot simply stop being the old you. You must become the new you. And I learned that no matter how deep your darkness goes, rebirth is always waiting on the other side. So if you're listening right now, whether you're struggling with addiction or trauma or emptiness, hear me when I say this. You are not broken. You are not hopeless. You are not behind. You are in the cocoon. And cocoons are not graves, they are transformation chambers. Your healing will not be loud. It will not be dramatic. It will not happen all at once. But one morning, you will wake up and realize that the storm inside you has quieted, that the weight you carried has lifted, that the person in the mirror feels like someone you know again, and you will understand that you are never dying, you are being reborn. Kishi Kaisei, rise from what almost destroyed you. Return to life. Return to yourself. And when you do, walk forward with gentleness, with grace, with intention, and remember that I, Anaya Sharma, am walking this path with you. Because healing is not a journey we take alone. It is a journey we honor together. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and whisper to your soul, I am coming home. Because today, your rebirth begins.